Story 01. Well, I have had many paranormal experiences somewhere on this site. Actually, this Kakani was a house built by my grandfather's grandfather. He built this house with a lot of hard work. In our times we had to face a lot of difficulties, because our grandfather made us farmers and built a house. It was a big house. There was a big garden in front. Dairy farm. I was a child. I don't remember my age at this time. Probably about 8 to 12 years old. My room was upstairs and there are 4 bedrooms upstairs. I woke up suddenly. I looked at the foot of my bed, in the right corner. There was a wall in front of me and a man was standing near that wall. He was wearing hospital clothes or white shirt, or both. His hands were on his waist like a statue. Then after a while that man was moving up and down in his place, or he made a frog-like sound. I immediately took out my sheet and covered my whole body with it. I got scared. Then my heartbeat became very fast, or I was sweating a lot. Suddenly I felt something on my right thumb as if someone was gently shaking me. Then I was scared for a few hours. I fell asleep. Suddenly my eyes opened at 3 a.m. It was probably 3:21 a.m. When I woke up, I gently removed my sheet and saw that there was no one standing there to guide us to the wall. Then I thought, what is happening to me today? A week later, my mom and dad were fighting. My mom was sleeping upstairs in the room we called the purple room. At the kitchen table, she talked about seeing a black figure in her room. I realized that what I saw was true, not a fantasy. The first time I heard someone outside of my family talk about this hooded black figure was on Ghost Adventures with Loretta Lynn's niece. Then for the first time I realized that it wasn't my imagination. Someone else had seen the same thing. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Someone else had seen the same thing, and that too on a TV show. That made me really believe what I had seen. I still think about it. I still get the same fear I had as a child. I also get the fear that I might see it again. Story 02. I was always afraid to go into the kitchen in my house. I often had to go to the toilet, only when I was hungry or needed water. I always had this weird fear that someone suddenly passed out behind me, or I got a weird cold, or suddenly felt like someone was staring at me, and there was always this deep feeling that I was not alone, even though I knew that no one else was with you. Well, that no other living and breathing person was with you. For many years I kept my distance from the kitchen. I always stayed in the kitchen with my mother. Most of the time, and when I got tired, I would go to sleep. I was the kind of kid who would rush down the stairs and go out. I still feel something behind me when I go upstairs. Right now, I only go into the kitchen to get frozen food. However, the feeling I always had there is still there. This story is from July 1991. I was 12 years old when this incident happened. It was very hot that year. The air was very humid and it felt like a hot summer outside. The air conditioner in our house had recently stopped working and the house was becoming unbearably hot. The only cool place in the house was the basement, so we had to sleep there for a few days. The first few nights were fine. Nothing happened until the night before the air conditioner was fixed. That night I had a lot of trouble sleeping. I felt so restless for no reason, but I ignored it, as most 12-year-olds do. I went to bed that night at about 12 a.m. After a few seconds, I suddenly woke up. I remember sitting up and looking at the small space under the stairs that led to a storage room. I saw a little girl walking, or someone like a man with her. the man was wearing a jacket or the girl was wearing a white dress or Jane frock, or the girl's hair was a little open and she was holding a doll in her hand, or we were asked about the man, along with wearing a jacket he was also wearing a hat or he was wearing big shoes. The girl looked like 10 to 12 years old, or they both were walking slowly. I think I fell asleep again. Once again, I woke up suddenly after a few minutes of sleep. This time, instead of looking at the darkest part, I looked towards the entrance of the laundry room. I thought, if I look towards the lightest part, I won't see anything scary. Thinking about it now, I don't find it scary, but as a child I definitely did. Instead of seeing the empty door, I saw another spot-like figure. This one was almost the same as the previous one. Only it was completely white and had black spots instead of eyes. It was completely white. Nothing was visible through it. It didn't seem to have any light coming from inside, but it didn't cast any shadows either. Like the last one, it seemed to be crawling toward me. I hid under my blanket before it could get even 6 feet away from me. I fell asleep soon after. I slept all night. The next morning I picked up all my stuff and went upstairs. Since then, I haven't slept in the basement. Story 03. It was winter. That day was probably Saturday. I was with my son and his wife. Mir bet ka ek beta hua dha. He was a little frail and needed a lot of care. Kuch deer bet hum bahar kana kain jan ki bait ki. Main apni bet ka dyan rahi so that my beta yaba can eat food ek se. Later our plan changed a bit. Then we thought that instead of eating, go to the beach and have some fun. Since it was quite cold outside, I closed the storm door as the air conditioner turned on. Then after coming back from the beach, I went straight to the kitchen to cook something. There were some utensils. I opened the kitchen faucet. Red water was coming out of the faucet, but it shouldn't be. Then I thought, why is this happening? Then after a while, the water became normal. Then I washed the utensils. Then there was a door near my main door. I saw that the lock lever was in the up position. After thinking about what to do for about 30 minutes, I went to the front door to see if I had closed the front door. It was closed. I went back to the deck and waited for about 20 minutes to tell my daughter that we were fine, but we were locked out. She answered after about 45 minutes because her phone was in her purse. He said that they would be coming in a few minutes. The dog ran on the deck. I call them zoomies, which it does from time to time, but this time, it's a bit late. I remember that as it was getting dark, I thought that my daughter would come to the house and there would be no light inside or outside. About that time the dog stopped running around and started looking inside. When I was standing in front of the door, a man was staring at me from a distance. His hair looked white. His eyes were dark and his lips pale. He was smiling at me. There was something like Rashi in his hand. I got scared seeing this. I stood a little far from the door and started looking at him. Then that man came waving his hand. Then the man walked slowly. Firmain ya bait apni by ko batai, lakin by kuch nahin bola. He said that someone would be there. Ho mayo hi usad me any mary madad kiho. Thinking this, my sons ignored this talk and started their work. I just remember this experience. I often get scared thinking about that person. However, he did not appear after that. The house was new, so I talked to the building supervisor the next day. Isha ikaha. Surf ek adminahin, wa is jaga ka salik dha. After a few years, his financial condition deteriorated. He sold this place to a rich man. He had locked himself in a camera. He neither talked to anyone nor met anyone. After a few days, the news of his murder came. Aaj is also a mystery. Ishaakaha hamra admikao usk main kaismara. Even the police don't know today. He said that man may be there.